The Korean Coast Guard response at the sinking Sewol ferry is under review. Is there more rescuers could have done? Insulting, racist, and sexist remarks from Pyongyang. Experts on North Korea offer their analysis and recommendations on how to respond. And a studio apartment building under construction in Asan is on the verge of collapse, safety becoming a growing concern across the country. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Tuesday, May 13th. I'm Luke Clary. Investigators are re-examining the actions of the Korean Coast Guard on scene at the time of the Sewol ferry sinking. Was there more that the rescuers could have done in order to save precious lives? Let's take a look.
The Korea Coast Guard vessel number 123 approaches the tilted ferry. It was the first patrol boat to arrive at the scene after the accident had been reported. It was 9:30 a.m. and the ship was listed at an estimated 45-degree angle. Admittedly, it wouldn't have been easy to move about, but movement on board the ferry was definitely possible. But for some reason, the Coast Guard did not enter the ferry's interior and rescued only the passengers who had already evacuated the ship. 47 minutes later, the ship is tilted at 108 degrees. One student who was waiting for rescue leaves a message saying that she misses her parents. This is why the joint investigation team believes that if the Coast Guard had entered the ship's interior or issued evacuation orders more forcefully, many more passengers would have been saved. But investigators are thus looking into whether the Coast Guard acted properly during the early stages of the disaster. 3 members of patrol boat number 123 were questioned about what went on in the first minutes of the rescue efforts. The investigation is likely to extend to the upper ranks of the Coast Guard, since the Coast Guard is being accused of not overseeing the rescue operations adequately. The Board of Audit and Inspection has also launched a special probe to determine whether the West Regional Headquarters of the Korea Coast Guard and Mokpo Coast Guard Station had taken proper first response measures at the time of the accident.
The ruling Saenuri Party has selected Representative Chung Mong-jun as its candidate for the Seoul mayoral race. He will face off against incumbent Seoul Mayor Park Won-soon, who's seeking a second term.
The ruling Saenuri Party has chosen 7th-term lawmaker Chung Mong-jun as its candidate for Seoul mayor. Chung secured his candidacy with 71.1% of the counted votes, defeating former Prime Minister Kim Hwang-sik by an unexpectedly large margin. He overwhelmed pro-Park candidates with his huge popularity among voters and party members. In his acceptance speech, Chung again apologized for his son's controversial remarks on the sinking of the Sewol ferry.
아들의 철없는 짓에 진심으로 사과드립니다. 제 막내 아들 녀석도 너그럽게 용서해 주시기 바랍니다.
The main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy's candidate Park Won-soon, the current Seoul mayor, visited the party leadership at the National Assembly. He sought the party's cooperation, saying that he will not stage a lavish campaign in consideration of the country's mourning for the ferry disaster victims. Park proposed that he and the Saenuri candidate announce a joint campaign pledge to enhance safety in society.
시민의 안전에 여와 야가 따로 없습니다. 시민의 안전을 위해서 꼭 필요한 공약을 공동으로 발표하는 것을 제안합니다.
But the ruling party candidate apparently turned down the proposal, saying that the upcoming election will determine the person who can properly protect the citizens' lives and properties. The two candidates are expected to hold a heated debate on their safety policy platforms.
North Korea has ramped up its invective against South Korea and the U.S., with brash, sexist, and racist remarks targeting the nation's leaders. Experts on North Korean affairs say it's important not to be riled up by the insults.
American news channel CNN posted an article by North Korea experts which warned that the Obama administration cannot ignore the danger of Kim Jong-un regime. Joshua Stanton, a Washington attorney who has advised the U.S. House of Representatives on North Korea affairs, and assistant professor Lee Sung-yoon of Tufts University cited a few reasons for the matter. First, they pointed out that we should not infantilizing North Korea and dismissing it as ridiculous. That's because the North Korea has been assisting Syria's nuclear development programs and sold ballistic missiles to Iran and Syria and traded in weapons with militant groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah. They wrote that for the past 2 decades, the international community has been duped by Pyongyang's promise of denuclearization and has provided billions of dollars in aid, but all they got in return was their nuclear and missile development programs. The article said that North Korea has outplayed some of the world's biggest and richest nations like the US, China, Japan, Russia, and South Korea. Also, they claimed that we should have a clear idea about the forces opposing Kim Jong-un in North Korea. They cannot be recognized as liberal or progressive because they may be in defiance of their young tyrant. But they still support the regime's justification for nuclear programs and insist that only a peace treaty can prevent war. The international community's diplomatic efforts and aids have done nothing but fatten the wealthy elite of the North Korean regime. The two authors conclude that Pyongyang should take UN sanctions seriously and live by the standards of civilization.
North Korea is famous for the mystical cult of personality surrounding its ruling family, the Kims. Already, the regime has developed flower varieties dedicated to Kim Jong-il and his father, Kim Il-sung. Kim Jong-un is next in line for his own flower.
North Korea holds exhibitions of Kim Il-sungia, a flower named after Kim Il-sung, and Kim Jong-ilia, a flower named after Kim Jong-il, between February and April every year. Despite North Korea's economic difficulties, various regions around the country competitively grow these flowers to present them at the exhibitions. It has been confirmed that the North is now developing a flower dedicated to its current leader, Kim Jong-un. The North Korean Workers' Party Propaganda and Agitation Department directly gave the order to the Mount Baekdu branch of the Central Botanical Garden on April 15th. The Kim Il-sung flower is an orchid from Indonesia's Makassar. The Kim Jong-il flower was bred by Japanese botanist Mototeru Kamo. But the party wants to find and breed the flower dedicated to Kim Jong-un from species found in North Korea.
선대에 이어 김정은 제1비서에 대한 우상화 정책이 계속되는 모습으로 북한이 정치체제 개혁에 나설 수 없는 구조임을 보여줍니다.
The flower dedicated to Kim Jong-un is expected to make its debut in January next year in celebration for his birthday.
Safety is now at the forefront of Korean political discourse, but there's still a long way to go. A studio apartment building under construction in Asan has tilted to the side, causing fears that it could collapse.
A studio apartment building is heavily tilted. One of its pillars on the first floor got broken, exposing the twisted steel reinforcement inside the structure. There are also crevices all over the building. Rescue workers received the first report about the collapsing building at 8:07 a.m. Even workers at a nearby construction site heard the loud noise made by the tilting building and evacuated swiftly. The completion of the building's construction is slated for next month. Luckily, no one got injured as the building wasn't inhabited yet. However, the authorities have closed nearby roads and pedestrian walks as the structure continues to tilt.
기초 집안 침하나 아니면 또 1층 기둥이 자굴됐거나 이렇게 좀 추정을 하고 있는데 아직까지는 정확하게 지금 판단을 못 하고 있습니다.
The other structure standing right next to the collapsing building is complete, but the authorities will decide whether or not to let its residents move in only after conducting safety checks.
A mid-sized Korean company has made headlines for winning a highly competitive wastewater treatment project in the U.S., thanks in large part to its excellent technologies.
A mid-sized Korean company is testing its high-quality wastewater filtration system at the sewage processing site in Carson, California. Sewage water treated here is on par with groundwater in terms of quality and can be reused for a variety of purposes.
And it's not sufficient for the population. Reclaim it as best we can so we can have sufficient water for the population.
Bukang Tech is participating in a project carried out by the U.S. Department of Energy. Its purpose is to reuse wastewater produced by shale gas wells. The company purifies polluted water discharged from 5 shale gas wells. It was able to win the project thanks to its outstanding membrane filtration technology. The company also won a project from the city of Barstow for purifying polluted groundwater and discharging it underground. Currently, the company is designing a plant to carry out the project.
The plant at very low operational costs, about 150% better than any other technology out there today.
Just 6 years after debuting in the U.S. market, the Korean company was able to compete with globally renowned corporations thanks to its technological prowess.
60년, 70년 전에 환경시설들을 다 해놨기 때문에 노후화되고 신규 기술에 대한 어떤 수요가 더 크다고 생각을 합니다.
The global wastewater treatment market is growing exponentially and is expected to surpass $600 billion next year. The problem of water shortages is opening up a new window of opportunities for mid-sized firms with the latest technologies.
If you're about to dig into a Korean dish, but you're not exactly sure about what it's called or what goes in it, you're in luck. A new smartphone application is here to answer your Korean cuisine queries.
This Chinese student is looking for a place to have lunch. She takes a photo of a restaurant menu with her smartphone and the translate names appear on the device. Once inside the restaurant, she uses her phone to choose the dish she wants.
在选菜的时候，尤其是对韩国语不是那么精通的外国人，选菜的时候可以知道这个菜单里有一些什么进去了一些什么材料，然后自己可不可以吃这个菜。
A smartphone application recognizes the words and captures on the screen and translates them into a chosen language. This application contains information on 8,000 dishes compiled by the mobile service providers in Korea, Hong Kong, and Japan.
KT를 비롯하여 9개의 아시아 주요 통신 사업자들이 연합하여 제공하기 때문에 각 나라 사용자들의 피드백을 수렴하여 계속해서 정확도가 높아지고 있습니다.
There is also an application that can read sentences you entered on a device and translate them into English or Japanese. Google and Facebook are front runners in interpretation and translation services provided on your mobile phones. But now local Korean companies are challenging their competitors with their own convenient and useful applications.
29 of the Sewol Ferry Passengers remain unaccounted for. The atmosphere at Pengmok Port remains bleak, as families of the missing are losing hope that their loved ones' remains will ever be found.
This pair of sneakers was placed here as a prayer for the return of missing classmates. Families and classmates refuse to leave the port until the ferry passengers who are still unaccounted for are found. Parents can't wait to see their lost children. They're terrified by the thought that their beloved children will never be found. The family's anxiety and sorrow grows with time as the Pengmok port becomes more deserted. The bereaved families of the Sewol passengers recently visited the port to offer their condolences to those who have yet to find their loved ones. They also discussed ways to speed up the search efforts and improve work conditions for the divers.
다 구조가 될 때까지 돌아가면서 오기로 했습니다. 여기 좀 빨리빨리 좀 작업을 좀 해달라고 그 부탁 좀 드리고.
With each day passing by, the wish of these devastated families to find their missing loved ones grows stronger.
A survey conducted on residents of a village known for longevity showed that the oldest seniors had 5 times the lactic acid bacteria in their intestines than the average person. What's the connection between this bacteria and a long life? Let's find out. The nice spring weather is thought to be ideal for spending time outdoors, but it's also the time when the immune system is the weakest because the body's balance can be offset easily by the wide gap between morning and daytime temperatures. One of the ways to protect your health and boost your immune system is to consume probiotics. Today, we're taking a look at the health benefits of lactic acid bacteria. First, we met with a woman in her 30s who takes probiotics on a regular basis. Her daily regimen also consists of food rich in lactic acid bacteria, such as kimchi and the fermented bean paste, doenjang. After meals, she drinks yogurt.
제가 장이 좀 안 좋아서요. 그래서 피부에 트러블이 좀 많이 나더라고요. 장이 피부의 거울이라고 해가지고 이걸 개선할 수 있는 방법이 없을까 검색해보니까 이게 좋다고 해서 먹게 됐어요.
This woman makes sure to consume 4 kinds of probiotics, including those extracted from mushrooms. Here's how to make probiotics at home. All you need is a glass bottle. First, sterilize the bottle with hot water and pour in some milk. Then add store-bought yogurt at the ratio of 10 to 1 and stir thoroughly. Seal the bottle and leave it for about a week. This is a simple way to make sugar-free probiotics at home. But don't cultivate them more than 3 times or else they might become polluted. And keep them clean at all times.
유산균은 젖산균이라고도 하는데요. 체내에 탄수화물을 발효시켜서 젖산으로 만드는 균입니다. 섭취하면 우리 몸속의 면역세포의 약 70%가 존재하는 장 속에 들어가서 다량의 유산을 생성을 하는 활동을 하는 유익균입니다.
Our intestines play a crucial role in the immune system. They're home to trillions of lactic acid bacteria cells. By taking probiotics, you can strengthen their mucous membrane to prevent harmful bacteria from spreading throughout your body and boost your immune system as well.
유산균을 꾸준히 섭취하게 되면 면역력을 높이는 데 도움이 될 수 있고요. 또한 염증성 장질환이나 과민성 대장증후군 같은 대장질환 개선에도 도움을 줄 수 있습니다.
Many people associate probiotics with dairy products, such as fermented animal milk. But experts say that Asian people should consume lactic acid bacteria contained in fermented foods made from plants. Examples of such foods include kimchi and doenjang. Asian people's intestines are about 80 centimeters longer than those of Western people. That's why they should consume lactic acid bacteria that can survive in their intestines.
동물성 발효식품과 식물성 발효식품에 관여하는 유산균의 종류는 굉장히 다릅니다. 이런 식물성 발효식품 중에서의 그런 유산균의 경우 우리 체내로 들어갔을 때 굉장히 좋은 효과를 나타나기 위해서는 장까지 잘 도달하기 위해서 내산성이 요구가 되는데요. 식물성 발효식품인 김치와 된장에 있는 그런 유산균 중에서 그런 내산성이 우수한 균주를 확인하였습니다.
1 gram of kimchi and doenjang, the 2 staples of Korean cuisine, contains about 100 million lactic acid bacteria. By consuming these foods regularly, you can improve your intestinal health and complexion. Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. That's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.